I became popular in StarCraft Episode 71-80. Thank you all for liking and following. Please support me. I apologize for any mistakes in the translation. You can donate at Kasi Corn Bank 025-352-0310. Then let's get started. Episode 71 Lu Yun. It was a woman's voice with a high pitch and hatred in her tone. I'll give you 3 times. 4 times. I'm the leader of the Yuta gang and I have a lot of money. No matter how much he shouted, no one came, and Zhou Cheng panicked. What are you busy with? The young woman lifted her hat to reveal her beautiful face. It was Lu Yun from Kongyun sect. After she helped her son Zhaoli heal his injuries that day, she secretly investigated the identity of the perpetrator. Zhou Cheng, who personally drove the car to the mine to pick up the goods that day, this was something that could be easily found. Lu Yun pretended to be Zhou Chenggong of Yalai Company to work in the inner ring of Tianhai City. She didn't know much about the situation in the dark streets. Lu Yun squinted her eyes and glanced at Zhou Cheng for a long time. The latter's legs were shaking continuously. You are not Chu Yao, Lu Yun said slowly. It was a statement of confirmation. If it was that Elder Chu, he wouldn't have to hide his identity now and would have turned the tables to fight him. Chu Yao. Zhou Cheng panted, and his eyes widened in confusion. Chu Yao, you don't know anything. You found the wrong person, you damn dog. He pointed at Xiao Zhang, who was lying on the ground, and the sword in his hand fell on Zhou Cheng's shoulder. Beautiful girl. I understand. I remember I know someone named Chu. You have to find her. Although Zhou Cheng was flustered, he had his wits about him at the crucial moment. If the surname was Chu, he would immediately think of Chu Xiao, who had caused him so much trouble in the past few months. It didn't matter that she was such a troublesome Chu Yao, just get rid of the evil female star in front of her first. Oh! Lu Yun's eyes changed. Tell me carefully. If you dare to lie to me, the sword in her hand shot towards Zhou Cheng's neck, leaving a small blood stain. Hey, you raise your hand high up. If I lie to you, I'll be struck by lightning. The cold pain on his neck made Zhou Cheng's entire body tremble. Lu Yun sat in Zhou Cheng's original position. Tell me. She sat down, but Zhou Cheng didn't dare to sit down, and stood by the side, trembling, and began to tell Chu Xiao's story. From time to time, he took out his mobile phone and handed it to Lu Yun. The latter's face changed several times, which was very exciting. That's right, Chu Xiao's Mao Yi gang now has at least 500 people. He finished speaking, but the other party was lost in thought. Not knowing what to do for a moment, Lu Yun poured herself a glass of water and took a sip. She was certain that this Chu Xiao who was flourishing in the dark street must be Chu Yao himself. Zhou Cheng and Chu Yao in front of him were enemies right now. Since he was not the one who went to the mine that day, someone must have been impersonating Zhou Cheng. Coupled with Zhao Li's words, if there was anyone who had such methods right now, it could only be Chu Yao. Hundreds of years old nascent soul cultivators were all mortals. She thought about it for a while, and she roughly judged the truth of the matter. Chu Yao is really yours. I worked hard to gain a position in the society of heaven and man. I never thought that you would stand on the dark street by yourself and play cool. Lu Yun did not have a good impression of this Tianyin sect ghost elder. The gang is also interesting. She looked at the silent Zhou Cheng in front of her. And the latter saw the secret in her eyes. Lady, if you have a grudge against Chu Xiao, then we'll join the alliance. As long as you speak, hundreds of my brothers. Alliance? Lu Yun smiled sarcastically, a faint pink aura shone in her hand. Before Zhou Cheng could even react, the hand grabbed her face. Searching the soul. What's this for, Zhou Cheng howled in pain, his limbs shaking like electric shock, his eyes white, and saliva foaming at the mouth. Not long after, Lu Yun threw Zhou Cheng onto the ground like trash, and then did not forget to stab him in the chest. The latter gangster died miserably by her hand. I have more confidence in myself. Lu Yun said softly, then wiped his face with his hands, transforming into the other person in his memory. Going out to cause trouble always comes at a price, Senior Chu. A euro. In the desolate area, there were several ovens, and a chef in a kitchen robe was cooking. Busy with the stove. Under the floating sparks and blue smoke, the grilled meat skewers were glowing on the charcoal pile. After a while, another batch of freshly cooked meat skewers were freshly baked, and they were brought to a temporary square table with steam rising. Chu Yao sat at one end of the table, starting from there, took a hot sauce, dipped it in, and ate it, leaving a mouthful of fragrance. Yes, not bad. I spent a lot of money to hire this guy, it's so fragrant. She didn't know where to find a bottle of cold Coke, and she took a mouthful of Coke and a mouthful of meat, like a crazy person in the world, but it wasn't wine. Sister Chu, isn't it too obvious? Yao Han looked at the fire not far away with embarrassment. Aren't there any cars blocking the way? Chu Yao waved the stick in her hand and pointed behind her. Don't worry, the gun can't shoot you from a distance. They don't dare to come in, and they're just greedy. While enjoying the food. While signaling the chef to make the smoke stronger, it would be best to float into the building over there. The extra-large banquet that Chu Yao had imagined ultimately failed. After a day of fighting, the gang still had a lot of work to do, and many people couldn't come here. So, the only ones sitting in front of Chu Yao were Yao Han, Su Binger, and a few girls who were in charge of taking care of them. Eat quickly, why are you standing there, it'll get cold. Chu Yao looked at the group's harvest today and urged everyone to come and have a taste. Xiao Ye, I ordered a lot of meat, and I'll share it with everyone nearby. It's been a lot of work. Forget it, I'm sorry for the trouble. Change shifts and come and eat. Everyone was initially a little nervous, but when they heard Chu, my heart relaxed a little after Yutai's words. The smell of the roasted meat was really attractive. Around the pharmaceutical factory, there were more than 80 troops taking turns day and night, surrounding the remaining group of the Yuta gang and waiting for them. In the Fidian group, the results of the entire battle were continuously separated. Chu Yao nodded repeatedly, and the meat in his hand became even more fragrant. The casualties were certain. On the Mao Yi gang's side, 17 people were killed and 52 were injured, 10 of whom were seriously injured, while the rest were slightly injured. On the other hand, 78 members of the Yuta gang were killed, 170 were injured, and countless people fled and defected. Among them, Chen Qingyao's commanding ability was greatly utilized, and the reasonable arrangement of the troops had caused damage to many of Yuta gang's younger brothers. In addition, after Chu Yao and several teachers' previous training, the improvement of everyone in the gang's personal strength paved the way for the victory of this battle. In the 8th East Ring Road, all the gang's strongholds except for the pharmaceutical factory were occupied under the name of the Mao Yi gang, and the weapons, equipment, vehicles, and other assets seized were also astonishingly large. If someone asked Chu Yao and the fact that the Mao Yi gang was not worthy of the name before, all of these people would have shut up. One day, the 8th East Ring Road was bloody, the fighting hall was eliminated, and Dingnan was destroyed. Chu Yao's name once again became the focus of the dark street. After this battle, the Mao Yi gang had completely become the overlord of the northeastern part of the Dark Road. Truly worthy of the name. The Hefeng gang, which had clearly declared war at the same time, was still in a stalemate between the Ten Rings and Zhou Cheng, and the progress was not particularly smooth. The third ring of the Dark Road had become 4 parts. The Lai Yunnan gang in the northwest, the Mao Yi gang in the northeast, the Yuta gang in the southwest, and the Hefeng gang in the southeast. Although the Mao Yi gang had suffered some casualties, their strength had increased instead of decreased, and had expanded to more than 650 people, which was about the same as the Hefeng gang that had been recruiting frantically, and the two were evenly matched. The Lai Yunnan gang was the weakest, with less than 400 members. When counting the remaining numbers and the defeated generals who had fled from the 8th Ring Road in Zhou Cheng's hands, only 600 survived. But in terms of momentum, the flourishing Mao Yi gang was still better. If it took another step forward, it would be impossible to eat the southwest corner that Zhou Cheng occupied next time. But because of the agreement with Nai Hafeng and Lu Shennan, there was no rush. The next thing to do was to stabilize the power of the gang on the 8th Eastern Ring Road, as well as the pharmaceutical factory in front of Maya Euro. Chu Yao raised his head and looked at the building in the distance. Its large shadow could be seen vaguely in the dark night. These people were very calm, not even lighting a fire. After eating and drinking enough, Chu Yao, Yao Han, and the others explained a few words before getting in the car to go home. The layout here perfect, and she doesn't have to take responsibility anymore. She sat in the co-pilot, silent in a daze, feeling exhausted all over her body. After dealing with too many things, she still felt tired, and monks are not blacksmiths. The eyelids were a bit heavy. Chu Yao just closed her eyes, letting the drowsiness take over. Let Qingyu and the others rest. Go and rest. Su Binger, who was driving, heard a slight snoring sound coming from the seat next to her, and calmly raised his foot to step on the accelerator. The car slowly drove towards Princess Yet. Mobile phone users, please browse and read. It is more convenient to read palm reading. I became popular in StarCraft. Chapter 72 Unexpected Disaster. While Chu Yao was sleeping soundly in the car, another Chu Yao walked up to Princess Yet. A large red robe danced around, and a long ponytail swayed behind his head. His appearance was no different from Chu Yao's. Her true identity was Lu Yun. According to Zhou Cheng's mind, she used magic to change Chu Xiao's appearance. Since you dare to do something to my son, don't blame me for treating him the same way. A stern look appeared in Lu Yun's eyes. Her gait was very strange. It seemed like she was walking slowly, but her speed was 3 points faster than an ordinary runner. It seemed to be a unique foot evasion technique. There was a long distance between Shanquan Mansion and Princess Yet. Even though she had been walking for a long time, when she arrived at the boundary of the 9th East Ring Road, Lu Yun was not in a hurry and walked step by step all night long. Revenge was naturally a revenge, but it could not be taken lightly. She did not know how many % of Chu Yao's cultivation had recovered. If the opponent was too strong, there was no need to rush for a while. From Zhou Cheng's memories, she learned that Chu Xiao was overseeing the fight in the East E8th Ring Road. Using Chu Yao's identity to rush to Princess Yet, the main reason was to find out the truth. The 9th East Ring Road at night was quiet. The streetlights on the side of the road were on and off, and most of the lighting depended on the shops that were still open. Garbage piled up on the street corners and alleys, mice running around inside, and occasionally homeless people could be seen lying on the walls, sleeping soundly wrapped in rags. The scene was a complete contrast to the bustling inner ring, which made Lu Yun, who was used to being in the inner ring, frown. A euro or what the hell is this, a euro? Lu Yun muttered in her heart. She was originally thinking about whether she could replace Chu Yao, but after seeing this scene, she gave up half of the idea. She glanced at the map on her mobile phone, and she only needed to pass through the residential area in front of her to reach Princess Yet. Looking at the darkness in front of her, Lu Yun was not angry, but happy. Her motives were not pure, and she used the darkness to cover her body. But what she did in a Euro trademark know was that the a Euro or ether persona Euro had the same thought. Halfway through the next journey, Lu Yun suddenly felt a tingling sensation on her scalp, and an ominous premonition arose naturally. She waved her left hand without thinking, and a pink protective aura appeared around her, which was particularly striking in the darkness. Suddenly, dazzling flames erupted from all directions, and the gunfire seemed to be hurried, and bullets came from various angles. The aura on Lu Yun's body instantly faded, cracks expanded and spread under the impact of the bullets, and the protective cover was about to shatter before it could last for long. Discovered? What happened here? Her expression changed. She stopped the spell and retreated quickly, hiding in various shelters in the alley, dodging the continuous attacks from everywhere in an embarrassed state. Lu Yun's current cultivation was at the 8th level of Qi refining, and she had her own way to recover her cultivation, unlike Chu Yao. But even the 8th level of Qi Refining's body protection aura could not withstand the attack of hundreds of bullets. No, I'm not the same anymore. These people didn't come here for me, they came here for Chu Yao. Lu Yun was stunned, and was about to remove the cloak from her body, but felt a strong wind blowing from the back of her head. She didn't have time to react, she pulled out the long sword at her waist and turned around to slash. But she hit something with extraordinary force, and the impact from the sword almost shattered her tiger's mouth. Lu Yun saw that her sword seemed to be cutting a long iron block and looked forward along the iron block, only to find that it turned out to be this person's arm. This person was covered in a black robe and could not be seen at all. Clear face. Judging from the appearance of that iron hand, it should be Huanglong who had attacked Chu Yao that day without a doubt. With a wave of Huanglong's iron hand, she flicked her long sword out and the fist hit her chest as if holding a sledgehammer. If this move succeeded, it didn't matter whether you were a monk or a heavenly being, you would be crippled halfway if you didn't die. There were bullets in front, and soldiers were chasing after her. Lu Yun was so distressed that she wanted to shout loudly, "You found the wrong person. Who did this Chu Yao hurt?" But now, she was immersed in the repeated attacks, and she rolled back desperately. The iron fist that fell down smashed a large hole in the ground in front of her, and gravel flew everywhere. Lu Yun looked at the large hole in fear. If she had been any slower, her chest might have turned into this. A group of humans dared to bully my old woman. Lu Yun's eyes were hard, and he finally had time to change the magic formula in his hand, and the spiritual power of his entire body condensed around him under the guidance of the formula. Dozens of butterflies fluttered in the air, appearing in front of her, but these butterflies were all made of fire. Both their bodies and wings were burning with red flames. The butterflies that were ignited were like stars in space, shining light along the dark streets and alleys. Before it ended, she changed her tactics again, stepped hard, and the ground behind her seemed to come to life. Large and small gravel and soil sprouted out, and it turned into a huge stone snake like squeezing toothpaste to replace her, blocking the bullet's sneak attack. The fire butterfly was like rain, and the giant snake was flying around. Huanglong was obviously shocked when he saw this scene, and retreated resolutely. "I want to escape now, it's too late!" Lu Yun shouted furiously, pointing with her right hand. A swarm of fire butterflies shot up, and the air distorted everywhere they passed. Huanglong knew that it was too late for him to run, so he stood there with his back arched, his left hand holding his right arm and stretching it straight forward. He didn't know what method he used, but suddenly, 4 sharp knives emerged from his forearms. Then, the 4 knives spun like propellers, standing up to cover his face. But this move could only protect his face. The fire butterfly was like a locust, flying across the border. Burning all over his body, it looked very painful, but he did not groan. If it was an ordinary person, he would have been turned into ashes by this movement. Lu Yun could not help but look at this person's body covered in flames. This man's body looked abnormal. Reformed? Lu Yun, who lived in the inner circle as Zhou Chenggong, naturally knew many things that ordinary people did not know. But that was all there was. As soon as Lu Yun's eyes turned cold, she was about to cast a spell with all her strength and burn the person in front of her to ashes. But suddenly, her body staggered forward as if being pushed hard from behind. White smoke shot out from a distance from top to bottom, first piercing through the stone snake, then fiercely stabbing her shoulder. The pain came afterwards, and Lu Yun felt that the bones in her shoulder were cracking, and the pain seeped into her bone marrow made her scream. If the stone snake had not blocked her way from time to time, this slash might have split her body in half. There was panic in Lu Yun's eyes, and she didn't bother to deal with the strange man in front of her. Her entire body's cultivation was at its peak, and she turned into a pink light and ran the way she came. The flames on Huanglong's body gradually dissipated, most of his clothes were burned, and his tattooed face was revealed again. What's even stranger is that there weren't many burn marks on his body. "Hunting knife, what's the situation?" Mobile phone users, please browse and read, it's more convenient to read on the palm. I became popular in StarCraft. Chapter 73 Morning Meeting. A human voice came from the earphone beside Huanglong's right ear. It was a miracle that thing wasn't burned. The target was shot in the left shoulder and is out of control. The danger level of the target doesn't match the information provided by the employer. Please stop tracking. The information doesn't match. The voice was a little puzzled. Slightly wait for me. Huanglong stood still. He looked at the stone snake that had lost its mana and shattered to the ground. I don't know what he was thinking. After a while, a person in a black robe walked out of the alley and threw a piece of clothing at Huanglong. €1 or wait €1 trademark s the situation, €1. €1 not an ordinary person, but a psychic €1 Huanglong said briefly, putting on his clothes. €1 cyber? What are those €1 information gathering programs €1 trademark doing? Is this a job we can do? €1 the man in black said angrily, his voice filled with fear. €1 I thought it was a dear rank reward €1 what €1 trademark s wrong, €1. The man in black brought him close to his ear, there must be some new information. Huanglong put his face back under his cloak and looked at him quietly. €1 okay, I understand €1 what a waste of time €1 the man in black sighed heavily. €1 what happened, €1. €1 employee dead and the reward has been withdrawn. The man in black kicked the stone hard to vent his dissatisfaction. Now, don't worry about the consequences. Hunting knife seemed to be Huanglong's current name or code name. The man in black turned his head and left after he finished speaking. Huanglong followed without taking a step, thinking in his heart. As Lu Yun was being shot by a sniper rifle just now, he couldn't keep his blindfold on, allowing him to see clearly. He still remembered this man. Perhaps, it really wasn't a waste of time. €1. What? A gunfight. Chu Yao heard the news as soon as she got out of the car. Her first reaction was that her house had been burglarized, so she brought a group of girls around several times. As a result, nothing was found, but all the members of the cattail gang were fine, so she arranged for more people to patrol around Princess Yat. Chu Yao slept soundly that night, not knowing that someone was blocking her gunfire. The next morning, she pushed the window open, felt the sunlight and wind blowing on her face, took a deep breath of the fresh morning air, and unconsciously smiled on her face. From the day I arrived in Tianhai City until now, although I have encountered many twists and turns, overall it has been stable and positive. The cultivation has recovered a little, and the Mao Yi gang has been developing gradually, and everything is going according to his own ideas. Look at these skyscrapers in front of you, they are all built by me. Just as she was about to raise her hand to stretch, the phone rang again. Ts.k. Chu Yao pursed her lips. Mobile phones are really convenient, but sometimes they are quite annoying. For example, it is quite disappointing now. When she clicked on Fidion, she saw a message from Gong Xiaoran, which was information from Mao Tang. Zhou Cheng died. Zhou Cheng died? She immediately asked Zhou Cheng how he died, but there was no more accurate news. Only his body was found in the Shanquan mansion. Gong Xiaoran even sent a photo. Chu Yao's first reaction was that this person should be Lu Shennan or Nai Hafeng. Then she thought about the conclusion. Between her and Accountant Bai, it seemed impossible to achieve. There was no other way. There were too many people staring at Zhou Cheng's head. She couldn't revive him and kill him again in front of Bai Jing. Hey, it didn't seem impossible. In her mind, suddenly, many secret methods of refining corpses appeared. Then, Chu Yao shook her head to get rid of those unrealistic thoughts. Training an ordinary person wasn't very useful, but it took too much effort. Find a way to get his body back. At least let Bai Jing see it with his own eyes. After Chu Yao finished washing up, she went downstairs. After eating the breakfast her sister brought, the morning meeting began. Everyone's enthusiasm was very high. After all, they had won a major battle, and they had also found an inner soul. Gong Xiaoran had officially been reinstated, which was a great pleasure to congratulate. As for Zhang Erwen's punishment, everyone discussed for a long time. Originally, according to the gang's rules, the punishment for traitors was to be expelled from the gang. But thinking that Zhang Erwen was responsible for stalling Ding Nan, and she was forced by her, her treatment was thus stripped of her position as the head of the Cat's Claw Hall, and she was locked in a small dark room for a few days, then became Su Binger's deputy. Although Zhang Erwen was pitiful, she had made a mistake in the end. On the balance of merit and sin, stripping her of an important position and depriving her of real power was already the greatest punishment. Because she was a rare talent. It was also the greatest fortune for Zhang Erwen herself. At least, she had saved her life and her job. The facts proved that Chu Yao's decision was correct. In order to show her loyalty, Zhang Erwen listed out. From this list, more than a dozen spies that the Yutta gang had placed earlier had all been discovered. Although the Fish Head gang only existed in name. Things like cleaning up the sect still had to be done. The Ghost Inside event had finally come to an end. Chen Xingye summarized the losses and gains this time in his seat. All the news that Chu Yao had received yesterday, but the information was more detailed. Everyone present was very excited after hearing it. The number of Mao Yi gang had reached 655, and they had truly become a giant in the dark streets of Tianhai City. After discussing the appropriate location of the injured, Chen Xingye also brought back the good news about the spider legs she had brought back to the gang. To be honest, Chen Xingye was at a loss at first, but fortunately, they had found a kitchenware processing factory in the city and were barely able to work. Chu Yao took the sample that Chen Xingye had handed over, held it in her hand, and carefully. These little spider legs were processed into a short knife, as long as an arm, and were all black. People who didn't know might think that it was a black knife. It was really a black knife. Chu Yao picked up a strand of hair and blew it. The hair fluttered in the wind. She nodded in satisfaction, very satisfied with its sharpness. After making the first batch, try to distribute them to as many people in Majiaotang and Maotang as possible first. They can be used as rewards. You decide for yourself. She remembered that she had found more than 300 legs before. And now, with the help of more members, it would be difficult to make the whole gang popular. We only focused on the fighters. As for the material that the big spider had exploded, it was still in Chu Yao's storage bag. She wanted to wait for her cultivation to recover a bit before trying to refine it. The meeting lasted about an hour, and everyone was still busy with their own work. After putting down East 8th Ring Road, there was still a lot of work to do. Thank you, King Ye Chu Yao patted him on the shoulder. It should be. Euro trademark s a matter of duty. Chen Xingye replied without looking up. He was busy replying to messages. Looks like Euro trademark VE relaxed for a while. I don't Euro trademark T know how long it will take for the stuff I bought on Linea Euro. Chu Yao stretched in her seat, and was about to get up. She saw Gong Xiaoran slowly moving over, hesitating to speak with a hesitant look on her face. Mobile phone users, please browse and read. Euro trademark S more convenient to read palm reading. Euro trademark VE become popular in StarCraft. Chapter 74, Tasting Grass. Euro trademark Re not allowed to resign. Euro EI Haven. Euro trademark T said anything yet. Euro Gong Xiaoran was stunned. Euro EI Euro trademark VE heard what King Ye said. Euro trademark S okay. I believe in you. The Mao Yi gang can Euro trademark T do without you. A big smile appeared on Chu Yao Euro trademark S face. However, if it weren't a Euro trademark T for May Euro or instead of resigning, why don't you think about Zhang Erwen? Chu Yao patted Gong Xiaoran on the shoulder. Of course, it's up to you two. Think about it together. Chu Yao left Gong Xiaoran who was thinking and walked downstairs. She had just received the news that the goods from the online order had arrived. When Chu Yao walked to the door, the girls were shocked to see a truck full of express boxes with Chu Yao's name written on them, and there were also potted plants inside. Ahem, why are you so surprised? Help me lift it up. Brother Chu, what's this? It's so heavy. Xiao Hua smiled as he held a tightly sealed bag in a blue plastic bag. The actual packaging. Flowers. Flowers. There's grass and plants too. Brother Chu, Princess Yet is changing the flower shop already. Hey, don't ask so much. Move quickly. As Chu Yao spoke, she stepped forward to reach out her hand. Often, these things were moved to Chu Yao's bedroom, and her room had become a tropical rainforest. The useless items in the room were thrown to another room at that moment. Flower pots and plants were placed on the floor. The plants here were not the same. Every flower and every grass grew with a special personality. Okay, thank you for your hard work. Let's go. Chu Yao closed the door after driving people out. There was a small tree as high as the roof of the shed beside the door. She was very careful not to let its branches and leaves fall. The clips were broken. Let me see. This is Han Kaiyuliu. This is Huang Shizu. She took out her phone and opened the list she had repaired before, comparing them one by one. Near the Tianhai area and even in the middle of the first continent, Chu Yao bought all kinds of plants that were unique to Ling Yuan star, whether they were ornamental or medicinal. If you wanted to do alchemy, you had to start with materials. If the materials were complete, the alchemy would be halved. The best materials were naturally treasures of heaven and earth. Both the environment and climate of Ling Yuan star and Feng Yuan star were very different, which made the plants here completely different from those in Feng Yuan star. But no matter how big the difference was, as long as it was a plant, there were always some similarities. There were countless medicinal herbs in Chu Yao's heart. As long as he could find a substitute material, it was possible to reforge a new pill. She touched a wild stone chrysanthemum with yellow-gray petals, then broke off a petal and put it in her mouth to taste it carefully. The mouth was sour and astringent, the throat was spicy, the lungs were clear. The encyclopedia said that this could be used as a medicine to clear wind and heat. This medicine should be able to replace the bio chrysanthemum, which was the main ingredient of Ran Shuet. The pill was available. She smashed it into her mouth, analyzed the flower carefully, and moved on to the next one. Chu Yao walked around among the flowers, feeling a little disappointed that these flowers and plants all had the same flaws. They did not have spirits, they were all simple living beings. But this was what she had expected. She did not know why. Ling Yuan star's spiritual power is almost non-existent, otherwise she could cultivate in her bedroom. Who came up with the name Ling Yuan star? It should be called Ling Yuan seeing star. Without a spiritual power, you can only refine pills to treat bruises, headaches, and brain fever. It is enough for ordinary people, but not enough for yourself. There is one method. Chu Yao planted these flowers and plants in the soil, and used her spiritual power to ripen them. But the pitiful spiritual power of the 6th level of Qi refining was not enough for him himself, and he did not know how long it would take for the herbs to ripen. Spiritual power, spiritual power. Then what about planting them in a large formation? Chu Yao thought of the mysterious formation under the Baishan mine, but she rejected this method. That place was too strange. If something unexpected happened under the guidance of spiritual power, the consequences would be disastrous. Chu Yao threw the black leaf that looked like a star into her mouth, chewed and thought. There was still a spirit stone in her storage bag. But that number was too little to be enough. In fact, there was another method that was partial, which was a pile of people. This method was more evil, requiring the monk to be half dead and then plant herbs and use their flesh and blood to propagate and grow. But the problem was, on this spiritual star, where else could she find a monk? She could raise her own people, but she was hesitant to part ways with the little girls of the Mao Yi gang. Maybe find some enemies to raise? For example, find someone with a spiritual root among the younger brothers of the Yutu gang. Hey, it seems like a lot of work. A headache. Chu Yao picked up a glass of water to rinse her mouth, After thinking about it, if you wanted to refine a high-end pill, it seemed that the only way was to plant it near the large formation. After all, there was no other place with such aura near Tianhai City. Suddenly, she thought of her elder sister a little. Senior sister Bai went out to wander, and she would definitely find a treasure trove of feng shui suitable for cultivating spiritual plants. No matter how bad it was, give all the spirit stones to the elder sister and ask her to organize a spirit gathering set. It would definitely be twice as effective with half the effort. Unfortunately, the eldest sister took Lu Xiao away and never heard from her again. At that time, Chu Yao was too poor to buy a mobile phone, and the two of them didn't even have a friend. Fidian. Forget it, if you can't achieve the universal medicine, you have to refine the death pill first. You have to try. Chu Yao cleared an empty space in the room filled with flower pots, took out a small alchemy furnace from his storage bag and threw it away. There were many things to pay attention to in alchemy in the Feng Yuan cultivation world, such as the 3-day bigu, bathing, and burning incense. But Chu Yao never paid attention to this. She only believed that things were man-made. She sat quietly in front of the alchemy furnace for a long time, adjusting herself to her best condition, waving her right hand lightly, and lavender light of spiritual energy swirled out. No matter where the sunlight shone, the flowers and trees trembled as if they were reborn. The petals, branches, and leaves danced and fell, and finally floated in front of Chu Yao. Under the stimulation of spiritual energy, the flowers and leaves turned into juice, squeezing out the most essence, and gradually merging into one in midair. Chu Yao added the firewood prepared at the bottom of the alchemy furnace, stimulated the essence of flowers and plants with her left hand, and took out a lighter from behind with her right hand. There were spiritual fires during the Foundation establishment period, the longevity fire in the Golden Elixir era, the infant fire in the Yuanying era, and now Chu Yao had nothing but firewood. She carefully lit the pile of firewood, and after the walls of the alchemy furnace warmed up to a certain temperature, she slowly transferred the essence of the medicinal liquid in her hand. Then, she lightly waved her left and right hands, and spiritual power merged into it, continuously nourishing and refining. Hey, no, why is it so shaky? Bang! Mobile phone users, please browse and read, it is more convenient to read palm reading. I became popular in StarCraft. Chapter 75 Alchemy. What happened, Sister Chu? There was another ambush. A loud bang came from the third floor, which could be clearly heard in the hall on the first floor, as if a bomb had exploded, and the entire building shook. The little girls who were taking care of the security guards quickly broke the door and rushed in. Then they saw a big black face. Wow, Augusta Euro. Hey! Where did you get our little sister Chu, you? Monster wiped the flour more. PFFF, big sister Chu, what does she look like? Are you researching explosives? The girls looked at Chu Yao's big red face and laughed together. The air was filled with a happy atmosphere. A euro trademark s fine, no one is attacking, what should I do? Chu Yao waved her hand with a gloomy face. After driving the crowd away, Chu Yao washed her face with the water refining technique, stared at Dan Lu and frowned. What a euro trademark s the situation? Did I do something wrong? Or is the fire bad? She just performed a great surgery and ended up using a deep fryer. Fortunately, this small alchemy furnace didn't euro trademark T look good, but it was quite strong. Chu Yao estimated it from low to middle level. A deep fryer is a trivial matter. An alchemist who hasn't a euro trademark T deep fried a furnace. Without deep frying in the furnace, is it called alchemy? The key lies in the cause of the explosion. Only finding out what went wrong can solve the cause of the problem. Chu Yao pondered for a long time, and felt that the problem might be the heat. She took a deep breath and repeated the process again, but this time, she used her spirit power to stimulate the flame to be more powerful while lighting the fire. Haha, it should be fine now. As expected for me. Wait, why did the liquid medicine turn black? As soon as Chu Yao's smile appeared, his face was hit by a thick layer of black smoke again. This time, the sound was even louder than before. Not only Princess yet, but also several shops on the opposite side felt the powerful tremors. The breakfast vendor hid under the table in panic. Earthquake, earthquake. What? Oh, wrong Sister Chu. Is there a sudden attack? The little girl broke the door open again. Hey, where did the monsters come from? Are you two regulars? Brother Chu, what are you doing? It's too loud. This. Chu Yao was speechless for a moment, and she wasn't sure how to explain what I did. Hey, it's okay, no one can die. Don't bother me. Be careful when you enter the house next time. My willow will be broken by you. The little girl carefully closed the door and retreated. In fact, Chu Yao could create a soundproofing, but she didn't want to waste her spiritual energy on other things right now. After a while, there was another thunderous sound from upstairs. This time, the girls got used to the sound and went about their business calmly. Lin Wu, who was sweating profusely, ran over from the backyard, holding the black knife given to them tightly in his hand, with an expression as if he was facing an enemy. What happened? What's the situation? Seeing her like that, Xiaohuo, who was packing up at the back door, laughed so hard that he covered his stomach and rolled on the floor. What are you laughing at? I just heard an explosion. Hey, wait for me to laugh for a while before explaining to you. Xiaohua took a long time to recover, and there was still a smile in his breath. Sister Chu did it. She didn't know she did something weird upstairs, and her face was black. Sister Chu? I think, although it's not a hand grenade, it's still a powerful weapon. So, without Chu Yao knowing, the rumor of Chu Xiao, the great inventor, began to spread along the dark street. A euro that's right. Early morning passed. Chu Yao went back and forth to blast the furnace 7 times. Everyone in Princess Ye was familiar with it, and by noon, there had been no movement upstairs, and they were still a little puzzled. No. What happened? There must be no problem with the procedure. Chu Yao was thinking with a black face, biting her lips tightly. She was too lazy to wash up. The furnace had been blasted 7 times in a single morning, and her body was completely numb. Could it be the external environment? Ling Yuan star is not suitable for alchemy? No, it is a pill furnace. Is the pill furnace normal or related to the materials? She started to circle the furnace, thinking over and over again about what had happened during the frying of the furnace. Details. My dignified elder sister, Patriarch Tianyan, a genius in alchemy, actually had an enlightenment in this small pill furnace. The refining of the blood-soaked pill had caused the furnace to blast 7 times, and it was a joke when it spread out. In Chu Yao's mind, all the details of alchemy seemed to have become a picture, which slowly projected into her mind one by one. And she checked and considered all the images over and over again. Materials. Finally, the image in my mind was resolved as the ingredients of the liquid medicine turned black in the medicine furnace. Wait, am I hallucinating? Perhaps this is not a difficult problem to solve. She seemed to have suddenly understood the key point, quickly took out her mobile phone, searched for a bunch of messy things, and spent a small amount of money to use the express service in the same city. Soon, a truck carrying all kinds of goods arrived at the gate. Princess yes. This time, Chu Yao didn't let the girl move. She hurriedly used it, so she went downstairs to get it herself. Thus, the little girl in the hall looked at the hidden man running out of the corridor in shock. The little brother who was the courier was taken aback. After Chu Yao signed the receipt, he quickly climbed into the car, as if a human-like creature would eat him alive if he was late. Then, Mr. Chu. Lin Wu was having lunch with everyone. Her eyes widened as she stared at the unknown black object holding food. She was so scared that she almost didn't pick up her chopsticks. Judging from the hairstyle, it should be. But why did you buy so many? What? It looks so old-fashioned. That's a mortar and pestle that country people use to pound rice grains. But now it's all mechanical. No one uses it anymore. What's behind Brother Chu? It looks like a big rice mill. This. I don't know. Maybe it's used to grind things. Amidst the speculations, Chu Yao returned to the room with a lot of scrap metal items. She reasonably guessed that the problem should be her own spiritual power. It wasn't that there was a problem with my spiritual power, but these plants growing on the spirit origin star couldn't adapt to the refining method stimulated by the monk's spiritual power. It was like a cactus growing in a desert. If you pour water on it, it would have the opposite effect. This comparison might not be appropriate. It wasn't to say that the cactus didn't need water or didn't like water, it was just that it didn't grow in a well-watered environment and couldn't handle a lot of water. It was like the plants on Ling Yuan star, they were born in a barren land where spiritual power was rare, so just a little spiritual power could replace them. In that case, why not use the most primitive method of alchemy? Thus, Chu Yao bought a lot of old pill refining equipment online. She didn't expect that there would be similar things in the society of heaven and man, even though they were mostly found in scrap metal shops. As for the items she didn't have, she could only buy similar things to make do with them. Then, all the little girls in Princess Ye heard the sound of the explosion on the third floor, turning into the sound of hammers and axes. This sound came out intermittently. After a while, the little girl guarding Chu Yao's room door was startled by a strange evil smile. Haha, I am the ancestor. Mobile phone users, please browse and read Read. More convenient. I became popular in StarCraft. Chapter 76 Dan Cheng. In Chu Yao's hand, she held an unpretentious brown pill. Her idea was indeed right. She did not need any spiritual power to activate it, just rubbed it with her hands. Of course, this was not something that could be removed casually. Grinding, and filtering various materials. The amount of water and materials used to cure diseases all require a certain ratio, and such medicines are made according to strict procedures. This cannot be called alchemy by monks, but it can be said to be a relatively ancient method of refining medicine. Even in the world of cultivation, it is the lowest level of alchemy, and it can hardly be called a compulsory course for beginners. But food must be eaten one bite at a time, at least it must be cooked, right? Chu Yao placed the shaped Rungsu medicine in her palm and sniffed it lightly, feeling that the problem was not serious. The next step is to test the results and find someone to test the medicine. She was still thinking about her goal when the little girl knocked on the door. What happened? Chu Yao asked loudly through the door. Sister Chu, that Shen is here again. Oh, isn't that person testing medicine here now? Let him go upstairs. It didn't take long for Shen Yu to arrive at Chu Yao's room door, still wearing the familiar white suit. As soon as he opened the door, he saw a dark figure rushing towards him, holding a knife in front of him. What? Shen Yu was shocked, took a big step back, swung his left hand forward, and blocked the hand holding the knife. Huh? I didn't expect you to be so good. Chu Yao pulled the knife behind her in slight surprise. That day, when this man acted as a hero who saved beauty, she thought it was a coincidence that he hit Huang Long's head. Are you Chu Yao? Shen Yu looked around for a long time. To be honest, he couldn't remember Chu Yao's appearance, but he could only judge from the voice. Who else could it be if not me? Chu Yao stared, turned her head, and walked back. Come in. Be careful not to damage my plants. You, what are you doing? Shen Yu was shocked by the flowers and plants in the room before coming in. I have something to say. I'm busy. I don't have time to talk to you. Chu Yao picked up the mortar and started to smash it. €1 or if you really want to help me, let me see €1. Chu Yao pointed to a small table to put the finished medicine on. Shen Yu carefully searched for a base among the flower pots and copperware and stones all over the floor, then found a chair by the wall and sat down. Heavenly eyes fell on the stove-like thing in the middle of the floor, and was immediately interested in Chu Yao Euro trademark €1 or invention. €1 or ace this making €1 heavenly prescription medicine €1 trademark, €1. €1 or are you talking about your heavenly prescription medicine? Eat €1 trademark s the same €1. Chu Yao made a lot of preparations for alchemy. The Internet, which has records of a heavenly prescription medicine euro. Tianfang medicine is a traditional pharmaceutical method passed down from heaven and man since ancient times. In the present era, such natural prescriptions have gradually been abolished. Laboratories and mechanical production have replaced the former pharmacy. And now, scientific and technological pharmacy has become mainstream. But Tianfang medicine still exists, and many ancient tools that Chu Yao bought from these Tianfang medicine shops are still in operation. Shen Yu rubbed her chin, saw Chu Yao who was concocting medicine with a gloomy face, could not help but laugh again. What are you laughing at? Did you come here to watch my jokes? No, I think you should look in the mirror first. Chu Yao took out her phone and turned on the camera function, glanced at it, and then squeezed a big ball. A water polo emerged from the sole of her foot and rolled around her body from bottom to top, and her body was instantly clean as new. She threw the blackened water polo out of the window. Super strange power, stone control, water droplet condensation. Your hypnotist's method really changes the time tube. I don't know what other strange abilities it has. I want to learn. Shen Yu smiled and said this sentence, No, I don't know if it's true or false. She can't learn it. She has no spiritual roots. Chu Yao's entire body's spiritual energy trembled, and her soaked clothes and hair were instantly dry. Spirit root. Chu Yao paused, and she said casually, as if she had revealed something serious, and stopped talking about it. No matter what you say, or help me test the medicine, don't sit here, get in the way. She was very annoyed by this tiger-like Shen Yu. Can't I come to fulfill my promise, and you chased me away? Shen Yu picked up the medicine and put it in his hand, looking at it carefully. How can I try it? You poke a hole in you, and eat it. Okay, let me borrow the knife. Chu Yao was shocked. She didn't expect the other party to agree so easily, so he threw the knife he had just held at him. Shen Yu picked up the knife one after another, rolled up his sleeves, and cut her forearm, not deep or shallow. Take it now. You can stab it a few more times, stab it into the artery. Shen Yu didn't say any more, and quietly put the medicine into his mouth, chewed it and swallowed it. The taste was slightly bitter, and the throat was slightly spicy, and the mouth felt indescribable. As he swallowed the medicine, he felt a hot current in his stomach rushing to his injured arm. Shen Yu's expression became serious. He saw that the wound on his hand stopped bleeding in less than half a minute, and formed a thin blood scab. Under normal circumstances, it would take a human body 2 to 6 minutes to heal itself and stop bleeding. Shen Yu's mind was like a bolt of lightning, and he turned his gaze to Chu Yao, who was also observing his injuries. With this medicine, he knew that he had made the right choice. It doesn't seem to be a problem, but the speed is a bit slow. Is there something wrong with the body? Chu Yao didn't care about his body, but only cared about the efficacy of the medicine. Is this speed still slow? Shen Yu was taken aback, but he covered it up well. No, it's just a bit unpalatable. What's the name of this medicine? Ran Shui Dan. It's just an ordinary medicine, and she didn't have to hide it. If this can be mass-produced, it will become a cash cow in Ling Yuan Star. Shen Yu's thoughts were set on the Rungsu pill, and she forgot the purpose of this trip. It's not that simple. The raw materials are expensive, and it's not known whether it can be mass-produced. Chu Yao clearly considered this matter, or rather, it was her goal. It's quite troublesome if you can only do it by hand. Maybe you can take the high-end route. Chu Yao's face showed an interesting expression, and Shen Yu was actually trying to help herself. What high-end route? Let's listen. This kind of medicine that can stop bleeding quickly is relatively weak compared to the various medical methods in the hospital, but it is suitable for emergencies. Shen Yu put down her work, her attitude was stern. Mercenaries, assassins, and gangsters like you, bloody battles are inevitable on weekdays, and it is right to prepare for them. If you can connect with such organizations and provide them with blood-nourishing medicine, the effect will definitely be very good. Good. Mobile phone users, Please browse and read. Pomistry is more convenient. I became popular in StarCraft. Chapter 77, Celebration Party. Speak well, can you contact these organizations? No. Then tell me the hammer. You are the gang leader, ask me, a government official, can you contact the underground organization? Chu Yao raised his forehead. Well, what on earth are you looking for? Didn't we say before that when you destroyed the 8th Eastern Ring Road? Before Shen Yu could finish speaking, Chu Yao's cell phone rang. When it rang, she glanced at the message, then jumped out of the room with a thud. Hey! Why are you going? A euro. A euro look at the pharmaceutical factory, a euro. A euro it. Was beyond Chu Yao Euro trademark's expectations to attack the pharmaceutical factories so quickly. She originally thought that the defeated soldiers of the Yutta gang would last at least a week, but they surrendered in less than 2 days. As they approached the pharmaceutical factory, Chu Yao saw the members of the Yutta gang eating lunch boxes under the watchful eyes of the Ma gang members. So hungry after only half a day? These Pipa Euro trademark's bodies were also not in good shape. She seemed to have forgotten that she had carried out the Euro biochemical attack Euro that was smoky last night Euro. The weapons in these Pipa Euro trademark's hands were taken away, expanding the arsenal of the cattail gang. Among the crowd of people eating, she noticed 6 or 7 people in white coats. Euro are those people? Bring them to me after you finish eating a euro. Chu Yao pointed at Yao Han, and walked non-stop to the factory building with the sign a euro eating ga euro trademark's pharmaceutical euro. When she entered, she realized that the actual pharmaceutical equipment and other things only occupied a small part of the factory building, and more places were used as warehouses. There were still half a pile of fever-reducing medicines left in the warehouse. Hey, the equipment here is quite advanced. A voice came from beside her ear, and when she turned her head, Shen Yu also looked at the equipment. Since when did you follow me? I came in your car in the back seat. Miss Binger handed me a bottle of water. Shen Yu looked innocent. Next time, I will tell Su Binger not to let this person in the car. Then do you know what these things are for? I don't understand, I didn't come for this, you have to find a professional. After a few people walked around the pharmaceutical factory, a professional arrived. Chu Yao learned from them that these people in white coats originally worked for Ding Nan. Under her signal, these people began to introduce these machines. After hearing the general idea, Chu Yao handed a note to a technician wearing glasses. Here's a prescription, you can see if it can be made here. Tianfang medicine? No problem, it's too easy. The key is the many materials that are temporarily out of stock a euro OE. The other materials and items are minor, I will handle them. Can the equipment in the factory be mass-produced, a euro? A small quantity is not a problem, produce in batches, depending on the quantity you need to make. As you can see, there are only a few manpower and equipment in the factory a euro. The meaning of this word is no money. Such a small number of manpower does not sound unreasonable to a large pharmaceutical company. It seems that N.A. Dingnan did not sell medicine sincerely, this may be his way of laundering money and bringing illegal money here. A euro and a euro trademark T worry, money is not a problem, as long as you produce this medicine first a euro. What is your name, a euro OE? My name is Cheng Nian, younger sister Chu a euro. Cheng Nian, who was wearing thick glasses, looked honest. He looked pretentious, but he had a deep understanding, knowing that he had changed his employer now and imitated the name of the Mao Yi gang. He called Chu Yao. A euro right, Xiao Cheng, you can go out with me from now on. Money is not a problem. I will pay you 3 times what Ding Nan paid you a euro. After hearing this, several technicians behind Cheng Nian were excited for a while. A euro however money is not given to you for nothing, it depends on your achievements, understand, a euro. A euro understood, Sister Chu, a euro. A euro right, add Fidion, and you can contact me directly if you have anything to do. You should try this prescription first, and I will see the results after everything was settled. Chu Yao walked out of the pharmaceutical factory that was standing in a deserted area not far away, looking at the large white building as if it had seen the day it was all over the sea of euro stars. Take that sign down and change it to choose pharmaceutical. She ordered her younger sister, who followed her because she thought the signboard looked unappealing. I thought you were going to change to Maui pharmaceutical. Shen Yu's mocking laughter came from the side. All right, business is done. Let's go home and have dinner. Chu Yao called Su Binger to start the car. Hey, I've been running around with you for a long time. Take care of me. Shen Yu was filled with irritation when she couldn't respond to her joke. Don't you want to know what happened with the transformation? Can't you use Fidian on me? You blocked me. Chu Yao pulled Shen Yu out of the blacklist with a look of disgust, then hurriedly got into the car. Do you want to eat something delicious? Can you bring it to me? Shen Yu wanted to squeeze into the back seat, but Su Binger stopped him. Sorry, Miss Shen, Sister Chu won't let you. Get in the car. There's another car over there, and someone will take you back to your place. Su Binger smiled and pointed to a car parked not far away. I'm really not happy. Shen Yu was not angry either, just sighed softly and walked to the car prepared for him. After a busy day, it was finally nighttime. The 8th East Ring Road had completely calmed down. Princess Ye was smiling brightly inside and outside, and it seemed that the people of the Mao Yi gang had been organized outside the meeting for the first time. The Cattail gang had won several victories, and alchemy and medicine were gradually on the right track. Chu Yao was happy and decided to take advantage of this opportunity when everyone was at Princess Ye's banquet. She wanted to do this when she was eating barbecue, but there were too many tasks to complete, and everyone who was busy couldn't get together, so it didn't work, and she finally had a chance. Chu Yao ordered Xiao Hua to close down tonight, so that the chefs who were hired with high salaries before could make more good food and eat good food. More tables and chairs were added to the upper classes' spine hall, one by one, and the girls were busy serving food and water. Delicious, fragrant, and delicious dishes were placed on the table, which made people's index fingers move. Chen Qingye poured himself tea while drinking. He kept replying to the messages. He was used to being busy, whether it was in the Tianyan sect or the Mao Yi gang, it was the same as before. Sitting beside Beijing was Lu Shan, who was chatting with the assistant at the dining table. His current temperament was no longer as unyielding as before, and it seemed that he had found another life besides seeking revenge in his junior Lu Shan. Gong Xiaoran's complexion had improved a lot, although there was some worry and confusion hidden in his eyes. Yao Han sat with his eyes closed by the window, and Su Binger sat not far from him, keeping a distance between them. Su Binger was nervously playing with her mobile phone, occasionally glancing at her brother. Lin Wu was chatting with the little girl with great interest, and occasionally made two gestures in the air, which made the little girl show a surprised expression. This little girl was Zhang Aria, Zhang Erwin's younger sister. Zhang Erwin was still locked in a small dark room at the moment, and Lin Wu was helping her take care of her younger sister. As fellow sister, the two seemed to get along well. Zhang Lu sat upright beside Lin Wu, and the two of them occasionally said a few words as they talked, which made the smile on Zhang Aria's face grow even bigger. Li Dayan's injuries had completely healed, and at this moment, he and the others were bringing a box of fine wine from the warehouse to place beside the table. There were also many top-notch backbones from the various halls, such as the female guard who answered Chu Yao's questions with a bright smile, and the fortune-teller Princess Yes Yao Huo who had a similar personality to Chu Yao. Some of them still had injuries, but their eyes were filled with excitement and joy. These were the majority of the gang, livening up the atmosphere of the banquet. Chu Yao's eyes swept across her face, and a smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. Among these people, some were from the Tianyan sect, some were from the Tianhai city, and there were also strangers from other cities who had wandered here. Brothers, some were natives of the dark street but now, they were all sitting together. And they all had the same identity, being part of the cattail gang. Chu Yao poured herself a glass of wine, her gaze couldn't Euro trademark tea help but divert to the window outside. There were only 2 people missing Euro. It would be great if Sister and Xiao Ye were there too. Eat Euro trademark a pity that there was no moon in the spiritual source, otherwise, in this situation, she really wanted to add some moonlight to her wine glass. The food was slowly served, and people continued to sit down. Chu Yao asked the busy girls and chefs to take a break and sit down to eat together. Euro say something, Miss Chu, Euro. Someone shouted first, and the crowd immediately started booing, creating a lively atmosphere in the hall. Euro ahem. Euro Chu Yao cleared his throat, shook his hair confidently, and walked into the crowd. The loud noise stopped immediately, everyone held their breath and focused. Yao Han opened his eyes. Euro Peacock gang can go today, not only because of me, Chu Yao, but because of everyone here, everyone in the gang. It is a very difficult path to build a gang. And it is a very bad path. On the way, you must be controlled by other gangs and controlled by the Yalai company. On this road, there are already victims in this gang. I hope everyone will not forget them. They are the greatest heroes in this war. If you want to go on this road, you must shed blood, fight, collect and fight. We have laid the 8th Eastern Ring Road and established a foothold on the Dark Road. This is a great step for us to win, but I also hope. Although the Yutu gang is only in name, there are also the Lai Yunnan gang, Hafeng gang, and the high-level Yalai company standing in front of us. I hope everyone will not indulge in the convenience in front of their eyes. Because my goal, Chu Yao, is far from here Euro. One day, we will remove the obstacles in front of us, not only to conquer the Dark Road, but also to conquer Tianhai and even the entire First Continent. Let our Mao Yi Gunga Euro trademark S name resound throughout the origin of souls and the sea of Euro stars. This was the first time Chu Yao had revealed her true feelings in front of everyone. Of course, she didn't go too far, otherwise, in her opinion, it would be too small to grab the First Continent. Alright. Miss Chu, you've said it well. Xiao Hua was the first to stand up and applauded enthusiastically. Okay, I won't talk nonsense. This glass of wine Euro. When Chu Yao raised her glass, her body seemed to have paused, but she closed it well. After passing by, only a few people noticed her strangeness. This glass, I would like to leave it to my sisters and brothers, both present and absent. She pours half a glass of wine on the ground and drinks the remaining half in one gulp. Everyone followed, and everyone's faces were full of emotion. I spent a lot of money, don't let it go to waste. There was laughter from the crowd, and the atmosphere reached its peak. In this lively atmosphere, Su Binger saw senior brother Yao get up and walk towards Chu Yao beside him. Hi? Brother, do you want to toast? Or should I go with you? She picked up the cup and followed. After Chu Yao finished speaking, she sat quietly on her seat, her gaze vacant, as if she was pondering something. What's wrong, little sister Chu? Yao Han walked to her side and leaned over to ask. Is there a patrol outside today? Mobile phone users, please browse and read. Palmistry is more convenient. I became popular in StarCraft. Chapter 78 Catching Ghosts. Yes, because of the shooting incident a few days ago, I added a special team under your command. Call 2 more teams from the nearby stronghold, tell them to pay attention outside. Okay. Yao Han nodded silently, and Su Binger heard what he said and quietly walked out with Yao Han. Chu Yao watched the 2 leave, then turned to look at Gong Xiaoran who was sitting beside her. Isn't there any strangers in Princess Ye recently? We talk about strangers a lot every day. Business. As soon as Chu Yao opened her mouth, she knew she asked a stupid question, so she swept her phone away in a daze. As she was speaking, an inexplicable uneasiness suddenly arose in her heart, as if something big was about to happen. This sudden sense of crisis made her hands tremble, and she almost lost her wine glass. This was an extremely rare situation. Even though it was the first time she had met Shen Yu, her mood had never wavered. Chu Yao had always trusted her instincts. Could it be that the group of assassins had come here again? She could only think of one reason, but the little girl patrolling near Princess Ye had not heard any information. Their patrol route had been revised several times, and they had covered an area of a 1 kilometer. This unreasonable sense of crisis made her feel a little irritated, and she drank her wine one glass at a time. What happened? Chen Xingye noticed that something was wrong with Chu Yao, so she asked from the side. Chu Yao did not hide it either, and told Chen Qingye about the uneasiness in her heart, and the latter trademark's expression immediately became solemn. Yuanying cultivator trademark S. Spiritual feeling is not right. I will find someone to thoroughly interrogate Princess Ye inside, and lead a trademark S talk about it later. After he finished speaking, he made several phone calls. Chu Yao nodded. The banquet continued, everyone was immersed in happiness, and no one seemed to care that the two people had left their seats. However, Chu Yao's heart became more and more restless. If she really had a nascent soul cultivation base now, and her spiritual consciousness covered thousands of miles, then she didn't have to fear any crisis, and everything was under control. Controlling her. Unfortunately, she only had the 6th level of Qi refining right now, and she hadn't even fully regained her senses yet. No, you can't just sit still. There are ways to refine gas during the gas refining period. Taking advantage of everyone's inattention, she walked straight to the temporarily empty kitchen. With a wave of her right hand, Chu Yao cleared a large area on the messy ground, then held her breath, stood still in it, and bit her right thumb with her teeth. With herself as the center of the circle, she drew a large circle on the ground with spilled blood, then wrote characters that were difficult for ordinary people to read on the outside of the circle, and then used distorted lines to connect these characters within the circle. After doing all this, she stood outside the circle, crossed her hands in front of her chest, changed countless formulas, and at the same time muttered, Yin is handsome and powerful, but Wei Xia is empty. A group of devils capture and pay, and wandering souls appear. Then, while chanting in Chu Yao's mouth, the ghost symbols painted with blood on the ground lit up, and those circles and handwriting seemed to be burning. Continuously distorted under the inspiration of spiritual power. Chu Yao seemed to hear countless people whispering in her ear, but she turned a deaf ear and continued chanting. The essence is full of power, instantly overflowing, the brightness is endless, unending. Those distorted and glittering ghost symbols suddenly shook, and smoke like ghosts rose from the ground, walking in circles with Yu. The cold wind made the room tremble. Shen Cheng. Chu Yao opened her eyes immediately, clasped her hands together in a strange gesture, then her whole body trembled, and a large amount of spiritual power flowed out of her body, rushing into the group of ghosts. Her face was slightly pale, but she did not dare to relax at all, staring intently at the direction of the spiritual power. She felt temporarily relieved until all the ghosts were squeezed into one. The large ghost that was kneaded into a single body had a unique shape, its eyes were red, and it seemed to have 2 horns on its head, silently waiting for Chu Yao's command. This was the soul and spiritual power sucking technique since Chu Yao had practiced it. This technique was used less than 3 times in total. This spell was mysterious and evil, and it was not particularly practical. It could not be used for combat, but could only be used for investigation. And the conditions were severe. In addition to sacrificing one's own blood, half of the caster's mana had to be drained. The summoned ghosts and gods could communicate with the world and could find out the hidden dangers around the caster. The higher the level of cultivation, the better the effect of the transmission of spiritual power. But after using it once, the ghosts and gods would dissipate. The first 2 times Chu Yao used this trick were in a secret place in Fengjai Yuanxing. At that time, she was trapped in a dangerous maze, and she escaped using this trick. She did not know whether this trick would work. It was like a prediction. After all, crisis was hard to define. It could be a specific object or person, or it could be some abstract idea. But the feeling of an approaching crisis stimulated her, so she could temporarily die as a living horse doctor. Go! Chu Yao pointed, and the spirits circled around her 3 times, then floated out through the door. Chu Yao followed closely, and saw the spirits and gods circling in the hall, walking back and forth among the crowd. Fortunately, only she saw this, otherwise everyone would be scared. Hey, why do I suddenly feel cold? Did someone open the window? You said that, I also look cold. Let it get colder, she didn't have time to care about it. The duty of these ghosts and gods is to seek danger, and they do not harm themselves. When Chu Yao thought that he was going to run out, the ghost slowed down and started walking between the tables. Oh? Maybe someone came in? Her gaze swept across the table, but everyone was familiar with them, and no one seemed strange. Then, Chu Yao saw that the ghost seemed to be certain of something, standing still at the table with Lin Wu and the others, stuck to one person and disappeared. That person was Zhang Area, and the little girl was eating vegetables with relish. Chu Yao wanted to complain about what happened to your 2 sisters, why does your Zhang family have everything? She didn't dare to delay and went straight to the table. Brother Chu is here. I think you've been busy lately, why don't you sit down and eat with us? Lin Wu greeted Chu Yao and put a chicken leg in his mouth, and the others present also greeted Chu Yao. It's fine, I just ate. Her gaze turned to Zhang Yao. The little girl seemed to be a little afraid of Chu Yao, carefully lowering her head to avoid her gaze, and focused on her food. How's Arya doing recently? Don't worry, Sister Chu, I'll take her with me. Lin Wu patted her chest confidently. Chu Yao nodded and looked at Zhang Area a few more times, feeling a little puzzled in her heart. What danger could this harmless little girl have? But ghosts and gods possessed her. Chu Yao, who had sharp eyes, noticed that there seemed to be something behind Zhang Area. Area, what is that behind you? She asked. Behind? Zhang Area was taken aback by the question, then turned around. This is my school bag. I have to go to school tomorrow. Bring your school bag here and show me. Zhang Area didn't understand, so since the other party asked for it, she handed over the school bag. Chu Yao picked it up and took a look. It was an ordinary school bag with a fluffy bear hanging from the zipper. It wasn't anything special, except that it was a little heavy. She opened the zipper, but there were no books inside. There was only a square box. This square box looked like a landline phone. It had a display screen and a 9-digit number pad, but there was no hand grip, and the top of the box was wrapped in the same colored strings. Chu Yao's eyebrows twitched. And she saw that the numbers on the screen changed from 0006 to 0005. Mobile phone users, please browse and read. Palmistry is more convenient. I became popular in StarCraft. Chapter 79, Explosion. Chu Yao's hair stood on end. Although she had never actually touched it, if she guessed right, this was a ticking time bomb. It was obvious that the digital display was a countdown, and now it had jumped from 0005 to 0004. No, there was no time to hesitate. In the blink of an eye, Chu Yao had used Mingling Ju to its fullest extent, and spiritual energy burst out of her dantian, flowing through her limbs and bones like a river. As her heart beat rapidly, she stepped forward terrifyingly, her body turned into a ghost, and rushed towards the half-opened door with a swish, leaving everyone stunned. In the eyes of the few people, Chu Yao seemed to have suddenly disappeared, and there was even an after-image of her in the air. Outside the door, she turned into a dazzling purple light and flew into the sky. There was no need to chant any spells, and adding the 3 methods of the Emperor's sky, levitation, and ghost steps, she flew straight into the sky at an astonishing speed as if she was riding a plane. 3 seconds. In the blink of an eye, she had flown for almost 20 meters, but that was not enough, it was too close. Chu Yao held the bomb in her left hand, and wiped the storage bag with her right hand, and all the spirit stones flowed out. The spirit stones surrounded her like a halo, and then instantly turned into ashes, filling her body with the spirit power. Her speed increased by more than 3 times, if it was a plane now, it would have become a rocket now. 2 seconds. Higher, higher. Chu Yao's eyes turned hard, and she took out a bottle of alchemy pills without chewing, and poured it directly into her stomach, allowing her to float for a longer period of time. She did not know how high she had flown, maybe 50 meters, maybe 100 meters, but she felt that the field of vision in front of her eyes was very wide. And Princess Ye turned into a small square under her feet. On the sand table, you can still see the inner ring shining from a distance. 1 second. Drink dash. Chu Yao stretched her left hand behind her back, twisted her waist, and blew a long whistle, throwing the grenade in her hand into the air like a spear. 0 seconds. As soon as the grenade was thrown, it exploded. The blazing flames turned the night into day. Chu Yao's eyes were painful, and he felt like he was facing the sun. A violent shock wave shot into the sky, accompanied by raging fire and thick smoke. She was too close to the explosion, and she couldn't dodge in time, so she was the first to absorb the impact. Chu Yao felt as if she had been hit by a giant hammer weighing more than 1,000 taels. Her entire body's bones were almost broken by the impact, and her chest seemed to sink. Her throat was sweet, and she spit out a mouthful of blood. The spiritual power had reached its lowest point, and Chu Yao fell into mid-air powerlessly. The red rope used to tie her hair also snapped, and her long hair was pulled by the force and danced with the wind under the night sky lit by flames. It looked like a jellyfish had fallen upside down into the deep sea. No euro if this continued a euro. No one could survive falling from a height of more than 100 meters without any protection, and the monks were no exception. The intense pain spread through her body. She bit her lip tightly to cheer herself up, took out the last few spirit stones from her storage bag, and stuck them on her chest. She tried her best to turn her head to look at the road. Her fluttering hair blocked her vision, and only the sound of the wind echoed in her ears. As she was about to fall on the ground, she pointed at the broom placed beside Princess Ye's door. Move! A spiritual light lit up, and she disappeared into thin air, changing places with the broom, and laying firmly on the ground. Her body was in so much pain that she wanted to die, but Chu Yao knew that she couldn't let go of her emotions like this. Everyone in Yegongja heard the explosion from above, and many people came out to see what was going on. The little girl who had walked out first exclaimed, she was the first to see Chu Yao covered in blood. Sister Chu was attacked. Call an ambulance. The crowd began to get restless when they saw Chu Yao's miserable situation. Everyone's eyes were filled with anger, and some people stood nearby to protect, some scattered with weapons, looking for the murderer. It's called King Yu. Chu Yao said while holding back the pain. This injury seemed to be more severe than the previous ones, and every time he breathed, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. What happened? Chen Xingye hurriedly squatted down beside Chu Yao. He was still as calm as ever. Arya, in the school bag, bomb. Chu Yao's eyes blurred a little, and he couldn't see clearly. I understand, leave it to me. Hearing Chen Xingye's answer, Chu Yao fell asleep with a smile. Wow, a euro Sister Chu, you can't die. If you die, what are we going to do? Xiao Hua cried in pain, and he was about to throw himself at Chu Yao. What nonsense are you talking about, Chief Chu? Sister Chu won't die easily. Zhang Lu stepped forward and grabbed Xiao Huo, preventing her from causing trouble. Don't mess around. I've already called an ambulance. Zhang Lu, you lead the team to the street and wait for Li Dayan, the cat-toothed man, to be guarding here. Su Huo, you are familiar with it. Take 2 people to search inside thoroughly. Don't let anyone's bags fall out. If there's anything wrong, get out in time. Chen Qingye gave orders one by one in an orderly manner. Chu Yao wasn't around. He was the backbone of the gang. A euro trademark LL follow. A euro Gong Xiaoran hurriedly chased after Xiaohua and the others. A euro right, everyone else, get out of Princess Ye quickly. Keep a distance of 50 meters from the building, a euro. With Chen Qingye a euro trademark S order, everyone began to evacuate the building in an orderly manner. When the bombs were dropped, his face was full of the joy of living after a disaster. The ambulance arrived quickly, and the unconscious Chu Yao was carried into the car by the medical staff, and Zhang Lu also got into the car to go with her. Many people in the gang begged Chen Xingye to take them into the car, but after hesitating for a while, he refused to allow it, and told them to return to their base before talking. Lin Wu, you two come here. Chen Qingye waved at Lin Wu. Zhang Area hid behind her, and the little girl pinched the corner of her clothes in confusion. Looking at the frightened little girl, Chen Xingye judged that she must have been tricked by someone. Area, do you know what's in your school bag? Although he had a blunt personality, he had never been a rude person. At this moment, he tried to ask Zhang Area with a calm mind. No, I don't know. Zhang Area replied shyly. Someone stuffed a bomb into your school bag. Remember, where did you go after school today? Don't worry. When he heard the word bomb, Zhang Area's eyes widened, then he said excitedly, my sister is still inside. Chen Qingye took out his mobile phone and sent a message to Gong Xiaoran, and got a clear answer. Don't worry, your sister has been rescued. Wait a moment. Mobile phone users, please browse and read. It's more convenient to read palm reading. I became popular in StarCraft. Chapter 80 Group Strategy. Gong Xiaoran and Su Huohuo quickly took Zhang Erwin away. Seeing that her sister was fine, Zhang Area's eyes turned red. And she threw herself into her arms. Chen Xingye looked at the scene of the siblings hugging each other and felt a little emotional in his heart. He thought of his wife and children, and wondered where they were now. However, he would not show this yearning. He was the deputy leader of the Mao Yi gang. If the gang leader was not there, he would have to stand up and fight. Just like when he faced the celestial starship that day, he was the head of the family, the head of the sect, and he could not fail in time. Uncle Chen, we searched from the basement to the third floor and found no traces of bombs. Xiao Hua saw that everyone was quiet, so he spoke first. Okay, but don't be careless. Princess Ye can't stay for the time being. Temporarily close the business. Move the headquarters to Liangairan temporarily. I will find someone to search again tomorrow. He turned to look at Zhang. Yeah, the little girl, had stabilized a lot after seeing her younger sister. Yao Han and Su Binger was surprised when they returned after organizing the patrol. Chen Qingye informed many people about the current situation. It seems that in the future, a security gate will need to be installed at the stronghold gate. Su Binger shrugged. If it weren't a Euro trademark T for Sister Chu, there would be a lot of casualties. Yao Han said quietly. I knew Sister Chu was powerful, but I didn't Euro trademark T expect it to be this powerful. She disappeared in an instant. It seems that Euro trademark M still far behind her. Lin Wu didn't Euro trademark T seem to have recovered yet. Her mind was filled with the scene of Chu Yao disappearing in an instant. I think about Euro. I was fine when I went out this morning, and I didn't Euro trademark T seem to be pretending to be anything else at school. Euro after school, Miss Xiao Wu came to pick me up and said that she wanted to treat me to a big meal, and then she followed me here. Euro after Zhang Area Euro trademark S mood stabilized. She recalled the whole Euro trademark S experience under her sister Euro trademark S comfort, with her school bag still in her hand. The's school bag is definitely yours, right? Su Binger squeezed the teddy bear hanging on the school bag. Euro trademark S mine. My sister bought this for me. Euro dinner party was decided by Sister Chu at that time. If you want to steal the show, the only way is for Lin Wu to meet Area. Yao Han. Euro trademark S words made everyone look at Lin Wu. How did you come back? Euro let me think about it. Area Euro trademark S school is on East 7th Ring Road. We take the subway to Jinghe Road Station on East 9th Ring Road and take the bus back. Euro Sister Lin Wu, save money. Of course you can too. Sign up for a car with Sister Chu. Xiao Huo interrupted. Forgive me, driving is still suitable for punching a euro. A euro or eth bomb can a euro trademark T pass the security check. That is, from Jinghe Road Station to He Euro Trademark and Park Station, someone has altered you on this bus, or you started from He Euro Trademark and Park on the way back on foot. A euro Yahan ignored Xiao Hua Euro Trademark S exclamation and continued to analyze calmly. The nearest bus stop around Yegongju is Riverside Park Station. The question is, how could he accurately determine when Lin Wu and Arya would return? Su Binger raised his eyebrows. After I sent Sister Chu back, it was only 2 or 3 in the afternoon when I heard that Sister Chu was going to hold a banquet. This news is not a secret. Sister Chu started hiring chefs when she returned in the afternoon. Even outsiders can easily obtain this information. Gong Xiaoran, who had been silent for a long time, finally said, "The key is why the enemy chose Arya. Arya has something to do with my sister, and only a few people know about it." Zhang Erwin pondered for a moment, then picked up a key clue while holding her glasses. Zhang Arya followed suit and nodded. "I listened to what my sister said. Except for the principal, the entire class didn't know that I had a younger sister. At first, when I followed Ding Nan, only his few confidants and a few hall masters, because Ding Nan would take me with him when he had dinner with them occasionally." Zhang Erwin was very intent on saying these words. For her, it wasn't easy to face her original self. Zhang Arya noticed that her younger sister's body was shaking, so she hugged her even tighter. Ding Nan is dead, his subordinates are dead and running away, these strays won't come looking for revenge. Chen Qingye looked at Zhang Erwin with approval. Then, we may conclude the truth. Ding Nan, the confidant, who is still alive, Lu Shennan, Nai Hafeng, and the homeroom teacher. Yao Han spat out these words calmly. The principal is a good person. Zhang Arya, who had her younger sister by her side, said louder. Ha 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 ha. Xiao Hua laughed so hard that she rolled. Hey, Sister Chu did it for us. You're still laughing. Su Binger pinched Xiao Hua's ear, and then changed from laughing to rolling in pain. It's just a guess now. We need information and evidence. We need to keep an eye on these people. Chen Xingye looked at Gong Xiaoran. The group chat started to handle the work. Sister Chu should know the important clue. Yao Han was the one who said this. It hurts, don't pinch me, Miss Binger. Xiao Huo begged for mercy again and again. I understand, there is only one truth, and the murderer must be Hafeng Gang. Because Jinghe Road Station is the closest, the 10th East Ring Road. It doesn't make sense. Yao Han looked at Xiao Huo in surprise. He always regarded this man as the gang's mascot, but he didn't expect that the mascot would be useful. It makes sense. Xiao Hua crossed his hands at his waist with a dissatisfied look on his face. How Feng Gang, you dare to do anything to Sister Chu, you're too tired from work. Uncle Chen, you give me $300, a euro people, I will attack the enemy camp tonight, and I will definitely take Nai Hafenga euro trademark S Hiata euro a euro OE. Alright, stop gossiping, we have already set our target, go back to Lady Liana euro. As for Sister Chu, I just sent Zhang Lu, I am afraid that we do not have enough manpower a euro. I'll go. Yao Han agreed. Then I'll go too. Seeing Yao Han speak, Su Binger volunteered. What are you going to do? We don't need so many people. Yao Han furrowed his brows. I have a car. It's late. Why don't you take a taxi yourself? Su Binger rolled his eyes and tried to reason. I don't want to take your car. Yao Han said quietly, as if he remembered an unforgettable past. This sentence seemed to hurt Su Binger badly, and she muttered in a low voice, but Sister Chu praised me for driving well. Yao Han, let Binger take you there. Hearing Chen Qingye's words, Yao Han reluctantly followed Su Binger out with a paralyzed face. Uncle Chen, you did a great job. Xiao Hua winked at Chen Qingye. Your child, there is no big or small. Chen Qingye laughed and cursed. Feeling a little heavy in my heart, I was interrupted by Xiao Hua, who relaxed a lot. Okay, let's go.